Stand up. That seat isn't yours. The man's voice cut through the calm of the first-class cabin like broken glass. Every murmur, every clink of silverware stopped. Heads turned toward the front row where Elias Thorne, a black man whose composure looked sculpted from still water, sat unmoving. Standing over him was Marcus Sterling, son of the Aurelius Airways CEO, immaculate in his pale blue shirt and flashing designer watch. Certain the world bent to his tone. "Someone like you doesn't sit in one," he said, each word carrying entitlement. Serena Vasquez, the young flight attendant, stepped forward with a careful smile. "Sir, maybe there's been a misunderstanding." Marcus didn't look at her. "No misunderstanding. This is my seat." Elias raised his eyes slowly, the light sliding over his skin. His stillness felt deliberate. No anger, no apology, only control. "You have 10 seconds, Marcus said. Rajiv Sharma, the senior attendant, hurried over, sweating. "Gentlemen, please, let's resolve this calmly." "Who is he?" Marcus demanded. "You're holding up a transatlantic flight for a mix-up?" Rajiv glanced at his tablet. "Mr. Sterling, your ticket reads 3C. Seat 1A is already assigned." "To whom?" "A gate clerk." Marcus's tone dripped contempt. "Do you even know who I am?" Serena's heart pounded. She knew Marcus could end her job with one call. She turned pleading eyes to Elias. He spoke softly but with weight. "You should lower your voice." The words dropped like a pebble into still water. Then quieter, edged in steel. "Don't make this the most expensive mistake of your life." Marcus froze, caught by something unspoken in Elias's gaze. Authority without threat. Rajiv whispered, "Sir, perhaps we can move him. Offer compensation." "That won't be necessary," Elias said evenly. "I'm sitting where I belong." He slid his boarding pass onto the table. "Seat 1A name, Elias Thorne." Serena stared. The name was familiar. She had seen it in an internal memo. Founder of Solstice Grid, the system Aurelius used for every flight. Before Marcus could reply, an elderly woman in row 2 leaned forward. "The ticket's right there," she said. "He sits there? What's the problem?" Murmurs rippled through the cabin. Someone began recording. Elias remained still, his calm heavier than fury. Marcus's jaw tightened. 8, he muttered, still counting. Elias's gaze didn't move. "Use those seconds to ask why you believe you deserve more than others." A wave of uneasy surprise spread among the passengers. Marcus forced a laugh. "I'm Platinum Elite. This seat's always for my family." "Then perhaps your father should engrave your name on the plane," Elias said quietly. "Until then, my ticket is the only thing that matters." Ms. Reed, the elderly passenger, spoke again. "Young man, the name on the ticket owns the seat. Stop embarrassing yourself." Marcus turned crimson. "Do you know who I am?" "No," she said evenly. "But I know who's acting like a child." Rajiv, desperate, leaned toward Elias. "Mr. Thorne, please, if you'd move to 3C, we can." Elias's voice cut him off, low but final. "What were you about to say?" "That dignity can be traded for comfort and apology." Rajiv went silent. Marcus leaned closer, voice sharp with venom. "You're making a mistake. I can make sure you never fly Aurelius again." Elias tilted his head slightly. "Then you'd better hope I don't." The aisle fell silent except for the hum of the engines. Then Colin Hayes, the ground supervisor, appeared. "Mr. Sterling," he said, calm but firm, "we can't reassign a confirmed seat unless for safety reasons." Marcus blinked. "You're taking a side?" "I'm taking the side of the rules." Marcus's breath came quick, half rage, half shock. "You'll regret this." Elias met his eyes, unflinching. "Maybe, but not today." Colin's expression shifted the moment realization struck. "Mr. Thorne," he said, the formality arriving with a tremor of guilt. Elias inclined his head slightly, not out of arrogance, but acknowledgement. Then, in a single measured motion, he withdrew his phone and tilted the screen toward the cabin. The Solstice Grid emblem glowed on an executive ID. His name beneath it, unmistakable, official, absolute. Silence spread like wildfire. Every phone camera hovered midair, every whisper cut off. Serena's breath caught as the tray in her hand slipped and clattered to the carpet. Marcus blinked once, twice, the denial rising before sense could catch it. "That's fake," he managed. "You're bluffing." Elias's calm didn't waver. "I don't bluff," he said softly. "I build things that don't fail." The words carried a quiet gravity that no rank could challenge. The name Solstice Grid rustled through the cabin like an invocation. Even the air attendants, People who had spent years serving first-class passengers stood a little straighter. Rajiv's throat worked, but no sound emerged. Ms. Reed smiled faintly, a small, triumphant curve of her lips. Marcus tried again, clinging to the only power he knew. You think some software gives you authority here? Elias's eyes didn't move from him. Not authority, he replied. Accountability. His tone was gentle, but laced with iron. The systems I built decide where every plane flies, how it lands, how safely your airline operates. So when you raise your voice at me, you're shouting at the man who keeps you in the air. A murmur of astonishment rippled through the passengers. Marcus looked as if he had been slapped, but was too proud to admit it. You'll regret this, he spat, though his voice had lost its bite. Maybe, Elias said, still calm. But I won't regret staying seated. The remark landed with precision, cutting deeper than anger ever could. Colin, now composed, cleared his throat. Mr. Thorne will remain in 1A. Mr. Sterling, please take your assigned seat. Marcus turned sharply. You can't talk to me like that. Actually, Colin replied. I can. It's in the policy. The cabin exhaled, a collective release of tension too long held. Serena finally found her voice. Would you like some water, Mr. Thorne? Elias looked up, a faint smile softening the steel in his eyes. No, thank you. I'm Euphina. His tone made it sound like a verdict, and maybe it was. Marcus moved stiffly to 3C, every step echoing humiliation. As he sat, his buckle clicked shut with a metallic finality that rang louder than his earlier arrogance. The cameras followed him until the last possible second before turning toward Elias, who had already returned to stillness. The elderly woman leaned toward him. You handle that beautifully, she whispered. Some things handle themselves, Elias replied. You just have to stay quiet long enough to let them. She nodded, impressed. Around them, passengers began murmuring, some angry, some awed, some simply relieved the tension had found an ending. A few smiled at Elias with silent respect. Rajiv, still pale, approached cautiously. Mr. Thorne, on behalf of the crew, don't, Elias interrupted gently. Apologies mean nothing without change. Just make sure no one else has to go through this. Rajiv's shoulders dropped. Yes, sir. He retreated like a man leaving a courtroom. Serena lingered a moment longer, the guilt in her eyes unmistakable. I didn't know, she whispered. You shouldn't have had to, Elias replied. But now you do. Her lips pressed together. She nodded and walked away. The captain's voice broke through the intercom, calm and steady. Cabin crew, prepare for takeoff. Seatbelts clicked, trays folded, the ritual of routine returning as if the universe had hit resume. Yet something had changed. The air itself felt charged, awake, bearing witness to what dignity looked like when tested. Elias turned his head toward the window. The world outside glowed faintly against the night sky, a smear of city lights fading into darkness. He closed his eyes, not to sleep, but to think, to breathe through the last fragments of tension. Across the aisle, Marcus sat rigid, staring forward, his reflection trembling in the polished window. His pride had turned to silence, and silence was a language Elias understood best. Ms. Reed opened her book again, the soft rustle of its pages reclaiming normalcy. A child in the middle rows whispered to his mother, "Did he win?" The mother smiled faintly. He didn't need to. The engines roared, and the plane began to move. Elias adjusted the cuff of his sleeve, fingers brushing the phone, still glowing faintly in his palm. The Solstice Grid logo faded as the screen dimmed, but its light lingered, a quiet reminder that power isn't always loud, and respect can't be demanded, only earned. Outside, the runway lights blurred into motion. Inside, the hum of the aircraft became steady again. Marcus shifted once, restless, but said nothing. His power, like his voice, had nowhere to go. Elias opened his eyes, looking forward now, calm once more. The storm had passed, but its echo would follow them into the clouds. When the plane lifted, it carried with it a silence more profound than any apology.